this morning.
Absolutely. But just so you know, get to follow us across our social media platforms on Facebook, on X, on Instagram, on YouTube at WFM 917. You can also listen to us live from wherever you are across the globe via our website www.wfm917.com, and very much also the phone lines 07000 or 9155
Mm.
Our text and WhatsApp line 08155 917 and 0703 175 6537. Those are the lines for you to get to reach us on this morning. Of course, we'll be joined by our analysts as we get to dissect the papers together. But then we'd love to hear from you this morning, reacting to any of the headlines that you've seen, and also get your thoughts. Don't forget that the lines are open. And yes, we're streaming live on our Facebook and YouTube page. So you can actually get to send us a message,
Mm.
or you can comment. And we're saying good morning to you wherever you are listening to us this morning on the program. Well, let's also get in touch with our analyst as we should this morning. But what conversations will be looking at this
Okay,
morning?
the first one is from the cable newspaper. Resident doctors threaten nationwide strike. Give federal government 10-day ultimatum. Right. So the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has issued a 10-day ultimatum to all relevant government agencies. The warning was issued in a communique signed by Tokwe Oshundara, its president, Oluwashola, it's Odumbako, its general secretary, and Omoha Amobi, its publicity and social secretary, after an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held virtually on Sunday. Resident doctors are medical school graduates training as specialists. They dominate the emergency wards of hospitals in Nigeria and are crucial to healthcare delivery nationwide. In July, NARD issued a 3-week ultimatum, which was subsequently extended by 3 weeks to engage with all relevant stakeholders, after which it will reconvene to reassess the extent of implementation of its demands. However, during the Sunday meeting, the ENEC condemned the federal government's failure to fulfill its promises, noting that a substantial number of resident doctors remain unpaid for their 2025 medical residency training fund. The association also condemned the non-payment of the 2024 accoutrement allowance arrears and the outstanding 5 months arrears, rising from the 25%, 35% consolidated medical salary structure. The ENEC expressed displeasure over the unjust downgrading of the membership certificates of the West African Colleges of Physicians and Surgeons by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, as well as the persistent non-issuance of membership certificates by the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. They condemned in strong terms the failure of the Kaduna State government to honor its commitments to members under the Kaduna and Barrow Diko Teaching Hospital. I mean, they go on and on to show their displeasure with what has been going on with regards to the government not,
Mm.
meeting their own quota of the agreement that had been made.
Yes, and it's a very big concern, you
Mm.
know. I'm trying to look through the demands, but just right now we've got our analyst Obideyi Olarinwaju Lobinko joining us this morning. Good morning, Lobinko.
Yeah, Miracle. Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everybody
Good
there.
morning.
How are you doing?
Happy New Month.
Oh,
I'm very
we
well.
Oh
wish you
yeah,
the same. We wish you the same, and we're glad that
Yeah.
we've made it to the month of September.
absolutely.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's going to be a glorious one in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. So, yes, Lubinko, this morning we've opened up a conversation talking about the fact that doctors have issued a 10-day ultimatum. They're threatening strike amid nationwide issue. They're threatening nationwide strike. And there are a couple of things that they've issued out as demands. Immediate payment of the 2025 Medical Residency Training Fund to all eligible doctors. Settlement of 5 months' salary arrears arising from the revised 25 to 35% consolidated medical salary structure, plus other pending salary backlogs. Disbursement of the 2024 accoutrement allowance, plus commencement of specialist allowances for eligible resident doctors, and many others. And it just brings you to say, is this something that's too much for government to not be able to handle? Hi,
It's
Lubinko.
not too much for the government. Hello, I'm with you.
Okay.
It's not too much for the government to handle. And it's one of the things this government had prided themselves in is the fact that they pay salaries, and is the fact that strikes that we've been used to are no longer. I mean, most of the time when they are talking, these are the things they point out: no more strikes, no uh, medical practitioner strike, no ASO strike, and all of that. So I'm even surprised hearing news that the doctors have been owed for 2024. They have been owed salary for 5 months. Um, these guys are working, and like the Bible says, the worker deserves his wage, the laborer deserves his wage at the end of the job. And unfortunately, I mean, the only reason for you to stand back over your rights for a year or 5 months, it means you've tried to be reasonable. You know, and whether you like it or not, your bills are not going to be stopped here. I mean, if we did not have that resources, it would have been different. This government boasts of getting so much IGR. This government is spending money on projects that probably are questionable. The same government set aside 712 billion to renovate an hospital. It's setting aside 3 trillion to renovate a bridge. We are talking about the Calabar Coastal Way. You know how much these things are costing. I'm very sure that the demand of these doctors all together is probably not up to 20 billion. So yes, I mean, if strike will get them what they are demanding, why not if not? The government has the capacity. This government has wasted so much of generating funds. So they have the capacity to settle those guys. So if strike, yes, it's going to have a adverse effect on the population, but then if strike, I mean, would get the attention of the government. Why not if not?
Well, of course, it should. It should actually get the attention of the government. That is what we're hoping for, especially because these are resident doctors and they are essentially vital to the healthcare delivery across Nigeria, particularly in emergency wards. They have issued this 10-day ultimatum to the federal government, and their deadline is Wednesday, 10th September 2025. If not, of course, we know. And I mean, this is really, really a cause for concern. Having to meet their needs is very, very important, because at the end of the day, when their needs are not met, then we have the conversations that fly around about brain drain, the healthcare system disruption, and a whole lot. And I mean, I think I read a story some time ago about a lady who died, because she was not able to be attended to. These also happen a lot more during striking periods.
Yeah.
Like I
My
said,
my follow up
I
question
mean,
to this, Binko, is just to pick on what Miracle said. These are resident doctors who are essential. They're basically the ones who run emergency wards, the ones who train specialists. But what could this strike mean for your healthcare delivery nationwide?
Of course, like I said earlier on, it's going to have a serious adverse effect on the healthcare delivery. Uh, Residents, doctors, like you rightly said, are the backbone of, the attendings, because they've been long in the system, at times they tend to sit back. But these residents are the ones who respond not even only to the ordinary emergencies, they are the ones that are mostly on ground. So, and if it was a case that Nigeria does not have this money, it would have been different. But everybody knows that at least this current government has that money. It will have a lot of adverse effects on the delivery of health. But I would say whatever effects that has, it can be blamed on the doctors. I mean, they've been patient. It should be blamed on the government. The blood or whatever happens will be on the head of those leading us in government, starting from the president down to the staff for health and the likes of that.
Right, this strike is not even the why this is happening. I think the issue right here is, why do our essential services, people who are in essential services, why are they always going on strike? Like, what can the government do to be able to stop this? For instance, we see that there was some states are in the mix. There's Cardinal State, there's Oyo State that are in the mix. What could be happening in those states that is causing such a, I don't want to say they're toward the government, but you really cannot blame them, because if you're still owing me arrears from 2005 or even arrears from 2024, what's the way forward really?
Miracle is simple. The question is, this demand they are making, is it a legal demand? They are not asking for something out of order. They are not asking. I mean, these are not new demands. This is, there's difference in asking, in making new demands, but they are actually asking for their entitlement. And this entitlement should not be owed to them in the first place. What can the government do? It's very simple. Pay them. When we hear about what this, especially this current government, the way they spend money, the first lady goes somewhere, dashes 1 billion naira, the first son goes somewhere, dashes 1 billion naira, the amount they are budgeting for projects and all of that. I mean, these projects we are talking about, not the human being in the ground for. So let the human want to do all these projects. Let them, give them their own entitlement. The labor deserves its wages. So in this case, I'm not even blaming the doctors at all. I'm not blaming whoever wants to go on strike at all. We have the resources. Give it to them.
All right, thank you very much, Lubinko. They have the resources, and let this agreement be met. 12 minutes to 8 on your Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. I am Miracle Phillip. And of course, we have with us our analyst, Obideyi Olarenwaju Lubinko. Now, we want to hear from you, Nigerians. The phone lines are open: 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. Our toll free number for women: 0800 123 5917, currently not available, but there you can send a text or WhatsApp message to 08155 917 917 0703 175 6537. All right, we've got some messages here. This one is coming from Olushoga Ajayi. It says the government, as usual, won't heed to the 10-day ultimatum given by doctors before their strike commences. In Nigeria, reactive measures are employed to tackle issues instead of proactive measures. Until the hospitals are totally on lockdown, they simply won't budge. After all, they can all jet out for treatment. Olusoga Ajayi from Ojolaini Corridor with his thoughts.
Yeah, we have this one from Mayor in Kotun Egbe. He says, "Good morning to everyone in the studio. I, Mayor, especially congratulate the governor, uh, Adeleke of Osun State, for winning all the LG seats because our current president, Tinubu, said that power is not served but is taken. Go there, grab it. Power is not served, beg your pardon, but it's taken. Go there, grab it, snatch it, and run away with it. That is the situation we found ourselves in Nigeria, where our laws have been handicapped by the confused politicians. Happening in Lagos Assembly is just for a while, okay? The president will get whatever he wants as far as Lagos is concerned." Thank you for your message.
All right, we have here from Barrister Ugo Osuji from Festac says, "Good morning, Women Radio presenter Miracle Philip Fumi and our analyst Obidi Olarinwajulubinko. Terrorism charge. Federal government may repatriate Simon Ekpa sounds plauditory as no man denies fate twice, as every man dies the type of death that befits him. Ekpa had been a thorn in the flesh of the indigenous people of Southeast, and this brings to the fore of the fate of Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, the jury IPOP leader. Query: is the right an attempt to get self-determination of a people that feel marginalized in the mainstream government is seen? No, 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 as the right to self-determination is sanctioned by the African Charter on Human People's Rights, our United Nations Charter, barring the municipal laws, to wit the Constitution 1999 as amended, that is at best a lie document. If Section 1, Subsection 2 of the Constitution 1999 as amended forbids overthrow of the government of Nigeria via coup d'etat and goes ahead to legalize violent change of government by Section 6, Subsection 6D, by ordaining that actions or proceedings relating to any existing law made on or before 15th January 1966 for determining any issues or questions as to the competence of any authority or person to make any such law, laid bad precedent, as a coup d'etat is a common couple, nay, a call cousin for self-determination. Let Nigerians and Nigeria go for homegrown constitution, not this military diktat decree number 24 1999. I humbly submit."
We have this one from Facebook, Dr. Mrs. Uma Olebara from Owerri. She says, "How can Nigerians trust the people they elected when the leaders have betrayed the trust? We are now having confidence meltdown, which is a situation of having little or no trust in the leaders and the system. We need a U-turn from the leaders that all hope is not lost, and change from the nonchalant attitude they show to the plight of the masses to real commitment. Then and only then shall confidence be restored." Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Uma, for your message.
All right, keep the calls coming in. 07000 917 917 or 9155 917 917. We have our text and WhatsApp line 08155 917 917 0703 175 6537. This is the newspaper review on your Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. So, of course, the program is within the full breakfast. We have our analyst with us, Obideyi Olarinwaju Lubinko, as we get to analyze the papers together. All right, we'll take our next headline now. And this one here is off from the Guardian newspaper. It says, child among 6 dead as speeding causes crash along Lekki Ekpe Expressway. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority yesterday confirmed that 6 people died while nine others sustained injuries in a road accident at Ibeju bus stop along the Lekki Expressway. According to the agency, the deceased included two men, three women, and a child. The nine survivors, comprising three men and six women, were rescued by last mile officials with support from other emergency responders and taken to the Federal Medical Center, Ekpa, and Hammond Hospital for treatment. The bodies of the deceased were deposited at the FMC morgue for identification by their families. In a statement, LASMA Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment, Adebayo Taufik, disclosed that four people escaped unhurt from the wreckage. He added that the rescue operation was jointly carried out with the Federal Road Safety Corps, the Nigeria Police Force, and the Lagos Neighborhood Safety Corps, ensuring quick evacuation and the restoration of order at the scene. Preliminary investigations revealed that the accident involved a blue Volvo FL6 truck loaded with wooden planks and a white commercial bus, AKD 336YD, and was caused by excessive speeding and reckless driving. Now, Yobinko, you'd want to think that people should be very well aware of road safety measures. So much it has been said, stop over speeding, don't drink and drive. But looks like Nigerians really do not want to take heed. Some Nigerians, I must say.
Anyway, this is, I think it's a general phenomenon world over, irrespective of how good policies or laws are to at least sustain the society to preserve the lives of those they are made for. We still have a few people that will abuse this law. I was in on last week, I think August 25, while some guys were coming from the contact that they engaged in terrorism on the federal language. You could see the number of casualties you certainly saw that, right?
Mm.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
It was a multiple accident. So, I think probably we just need to read it to orient Nigerians more. You realize that a lot of our drivers at times they do not go through the necessary training. Quite a number of drivers also do not have necessary training. They just, probably enter one car on their street, go up, go down, then they believe they become drivers. Actually, that's the way majority of Nigerians learn their driving. And that's why you see some of us when we travel out, someone who's been driving for 50 years, you get to hear that they are feeling drivers test. You get. So I think a lot needs to be done more on the orientation of road users because the loss of life is getting too much.
I actually remember that there was a data that was released sometime by the Federal Road Safety Corps about the first quarter of 2025. At least 1,593 Nigerians lost their lives in road traffic crashes. And, this is for the first quarter of 2025, according to the Federal Road Safety Corps, and it leaves you thinking about what happens with the second quarter and the third quarter, and even with the last quarter of the year, which is what we are in right now. We understand the haste, the many activities, and usually there's always that extra caution as well, and extra concern about how people are able to commute themselves on the road. What is even more worrisome, Lubinko, is the fact that when someone is involved in an accident, a car hits someone, they speed up and leave. I mean, it was some days ago that, a colleague of ours was sharing how, she was coming to work and there was a dead body on the floor on the expressway, the Lagos Ibadan expressway, and that had stayed there for for some hours. Nobody picked that body up, but definitely that body must have been hit by a car. What does it say about our sense of humanity, Lobinko?
You see, it can run. It's also not a phenomenon only to Nigeria, especially around the world. The word hit and run was actually not invented in Nigeria. But the humanitarian side, where okay, even if the person that hits someone, please, the next driver should show empathy. Uh, to a large extent, it could also be because of our system, our poor system. You know, you get involved in something like that, you try to help, you get the person to the hospital, they are probably first going to ask you for police reports. And God help you. Unfortunately, that person gives up inside your car or while with you, and probably can't defend to say, oh, you don't know about it or you're just a good Samaritan. God help you. You'll be amazed that at the end of the day, there's a charge for murder. And because Nigerians know this thing, you know, one becomes very careful. Humanity efforts becomes so it's all part of the decayed system, and until that is worked on, until people that wants to help knows that they are protected, it might go on for a very long time. That's a systemic problem most of the time.
I think this the key word that you said, as you landed, until those who know that they can help can be protected, then it would have to get better from there. Well, thank you so much, Lubinko, for sharing your thoughts this morning. But this is also to say, for me, it's very important that people are aware not to speed off on the roads. I mean, yeah, there could be times when you're rushing off to wherever you're rushing off, but stay on your lane as well. And, make sure that you're not drinking and driving. Or worse of also people that pick calls while they're on the roads. They're
On
the
the
roads so that we're able to curtail some of these issues, because every single quarter they release statements and it just says about, well, even though some people are not educated, what we're doing right now is educating people
people.
about what they need to do, how best they should realize that when you're over speeding, it's not just you might just hurt the next person. So let's do better.
One thing I've even noticed is most times people that overspeed, it's not even them that have that get injured. It's always the other person that they ran into. More so is the fact that you don't realize. People need to realize that the moment you take your eyes off the road, it doesn't matter if it was for a split second. Anything can happen in a split second. So as you go about, the road, even passengers on the bus, have a responsibility as well in making sure that the drivers of the vehicle that they are in pay attention on the bus. Because sometimes if you're getting late to work, you really do not care if this driver is speeding, because you're like, you're being selfish, I need to get to work. But you also have to consider that beyond that, your safety is paramount. You need to be your brother's keeper in making sure that, look, what I say, I'm like, please, firstborn, I have children, they're still small, please, please have mercy on me. Maybe people need to begin to say that, so that they themselves have a responsibility about safety. I imagine that there were passengers in in both vehicles, and they didn't say anything when the driver was speeding, because in their mind, as long as the
where
driver
we're
should do
going.
anything he can do to take them to their destination in time. We need to begin to change our mindsets. We need to begin to shift our perspectives about what our responsibility while we are in public transport, even while you're in your own private vehicle.
Let's take this
And,
call.
and don't be
Okay,
surprised. Don't be
Lubinko, we'll just
surprised.
take this call, please. Hello, good morning.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Good morning, and I'm grateful for evangelization.
You're welcome.
In my hard work analyst said when some people are hit,
because of the family failure. Because let me ask you a question. If you are going, you saw your brother, maybe or your wife, or your close friend being hit by vehicle, will you say because of the family failure you don't help that person? Say it's your wife or your brother. I don't believe what you say. Just we don't love ourselves. We don't really love our country. That's why I ask this question. Let somebody answer me. That because of the family failure, if you help them to blind you to trouble, then you saw your brother or your wife or your sister, baby, don't you suffer, right? If you don't suffer, and that's why you don't have consequence, you're not consequent. That's what I need to say on that. So on this outside cannot strike. Let the government do something, please, before we move to this. Like now, students want to resume. Many people are saying they can't pay school fees. Now, sister, look at the house rent. Look at how landlords are hijacking the house rent. You talk of housing, you talk of life, you talk of everything. Now, if the government should do something, many now, their children cannot go back to school. Listen, you can tell me, what I do, I like the children, but not everybody can get access to that place. Every time you wake up and see this one has gone up, this one has gone up, this one has gone up. You never wake up one day and say, the bag of life has come down drastically. The life has come down. How can I say this one has come down? So this thing affecting people. If you take the rest of people that are dying on daily basis, my sister, it's alarming. It's alarming. So I want to set one another. If you have let her down, it's all about sacrifice. Christ coming to sacrifice his life for us. What are you doing? Some have this money. Even they can't help their brother. And so the church they fill up. Friday must be fill up. What are you doing? Is it not love? The love that God has for us and kill his son for us. The love that Jesus Christ called Isa in Quran have for us and die for us. And so also if you have that love and care. If you have that love, Nigeria will not be where it is today. God bless you, God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much for calling Evangelist Dixon. Lubinko, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Evangelist has spoken well, but even the Bible says in all your dealings, get understanding. Seeing your relative on an accident scene, of course it is the right thing for you to stop by, pick that native. If anything goes wrong at the end of the day, even if that native can't defend you, your family, those who know you, your friends will defend you. They don't move together. But when we talk about systemic issues in the country, we've seen it happen once, we've seen it happen a few times. And at the end of the day, that systemic rot is not tackled. Sentiment aside, because whatever your purpose in life, whatever destiny you have in life, if you do not attend to it also with purpose and strategy, you probably will just stay in your purpose altogether. I mean, it's just as simple as that. It doesn't mean you lack humanity. I mean, but whoever is going to stop, of course, we still see people stop by. We are only just saying that the ratio of people stopping is not as much as people that do not stop. The systemic rot is serious. Someone asked me one day, we are going, you see a pregnant woman along the lonely bush, would you stop to pick the person? The answer is, in Nigeria of today, it's wise for you not to stop. Rather, you can move forward and make necessary calls to the emergency units. That is how to say wisdom is profitable to demand in whatever we are doing. Because at the end of the day, if you are not wise and you act based on emotions alone, at the end of the day, you have yourself to blame. And you also leave a traction for those coming behind. I mean, you're passing an accident scene, you have emergency toll numbers. I just passed so place, so happen. Please go there and pick the person. By the time the responders get there, one or two witnesses will tell them the person that it's this person, or this is the kind of car he's driving with now with and all of that. By the time they get to see you, they realize that no. Or it's different from when you pick that person and then you want to build the cat alone in the Nigeria of today. Wisdom is profitable, please, evangelist. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, Lubinko. And just so you know, it is still Women Radio 91.7, 9 minutes after 8. I would really like to know from anyone out there, who's listening. Have you been able to help someone who maybe had an accident, was involved in an accident? How was that experience for you? How was that experience for you? Was there maybe a family member who was involved? What was it like having to get the person get help? Let's get to hear from you this morning. 07000 917 917 09155 917 917. Our text and WhatsApp line 08155 917 917 0703 175 6537. All right, we have this call here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Miracle. Good morning, Finland. Mr. Lubinko, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Prince.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is yesterday after the provocation from the money discussion, I decided to do a little piece work on women, and then I sent it to your number. Your wife. I don't know when you will read it for the women word. I looked at Nigeria as Lubinko was talking this morning, and I began to process a lot of things. The things that were coming to my mind, a lot of us are rejoicing that Simon Ekpa has been jailed, right? One, in this country. I am from the North Central, Nigeria. Look at this. Please, I want to ask Nigerians, are we truly one Nigeria? Are we? Will a Yoruba man say sincerely he is free with an Igbo man? Will an Igbo man say sincerely he is free with an Hausa man? Nnamdi Kanu is in the prison, in the DSS cell for 10 years going, the case is still growing. When are we going to have a country that unity will become our definition? This girl that died because of Dangote's truck. How many Nigerians, how many
Hi, Prince. We're finding it really difficult to hear what you're saying this morning. Okay, so we're trying to finding it very hard. I think it's a network issue, but then there were very very succinct points that you raised there, and it still borders on the love for our fellow citizens, the love for our fellow Nigerians, regardless of tribe, regardless of religion, regardless of differences. That one love there that translates to a lot of other things. We have messages that have come in here. And this one here is message quite lengthy, really, really lengthy. Oh my. It's really, really lengthy, Prince. And I think it was you who sent this, but I'm going to try to, as much as I can, just read a brief part of that. It says, Crown of Creation, the greatness of women. Says, we live in a world that often struggles to define womanhood. Culture often offers 1,000 conflicting messages about a woman's value, tying it to appearance, achievement, or possession. But the eternal, unchanging truth about the greatness of a woman is not found in a magazine or a social media feed. It is found in the pages of God's holy word. From the very beginning, God has a glorious, essential, and powerful purpose for the woman. She's not an afterthought. She is the culmination, the masterstroke, the finishing touch of creation, what I call the crown of creation. Like I wrote in my earlier piece, woman, you're destined for greatness. And what makes you great as a woman today? Let's journey through scripture to discover and celebrate the God-given greatness of the woman. Well, thank you so much for your message, Prince. Quite very, very lengthy. We can't take it all here on the program. But if you've just tuned in, this is 13 minutes past 8. on Your Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. And, just to put an emphasis to that last message, there's so much greatness on the inside of the woman. I thank you, Prince, for actually having to express that to us here on the program. It is also a gentle reminder as well that we must respect the woman, we must protect the woman, we must love the woman, and women as well, we must understand our essence so that we can actually live up to our full potentials.
Absolutely, I do agree. Time check. This is 14 minutes after 8, and you're still tuned into the newspaper review segment of the Full Breakfast Show this morning. We're still expecting your calls and your messages. We want to go to the third headline. All right, let's go there. It says, this one is from the Guardian newspaper that says, Serap to support Niger Delta women seeking justice. Concerned by the high degree of marginalization and injustice against women in the Niger Delta region, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has pledged to support women from the region to seek legal actions. The women had lamented that the marginalization and poor treatment against them by some community heads, oil and gas industries, among others, are so glaring, stating that they are dying in silence because they do not know the right steps to take towards addressing their challenges and improving their conditions. The women disclosed this during an interactive session on strategic litigation and women's role in advancing social justice in the Niger Delta, organized by SERAP in Port Harcourt, Rivers State yesterday. After listening to the women who spoke during the questions and answers session after a training on legal tools for women in oil and oil producing communities, Sarah promised to follow up on the feedback received from the women drawn from Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River Delta, and Edo and River States over the denial from participation in issues that affect their lives. Lubinko, one of the things that we talk about here over at Women Radio are the special seats bill, because we believe strongly that we need women representation in administering policies, in administering justice, in administering basically the benefit of all citizens, especially women. And in this article, we see that the women in the Niger Delta are also complaining of being marginalized, of being not included in conversations that not only affect their community, but affect them directly. Wouldn't you say that it's high time that we start giving women the chance to be in positions of authority, in being in the corridors of power, in decision making, because we've seen time and time again the impact of women in power in Nigeria?
Yeah, gladly, however, I it's it's a fact that women are getting more representation, but yes, it's not enough yet. Uh, the power of women in orderliness, in because of the empathy they carry, would actually go a long way in making governance better, rather than being relegated to the background as a second-class citizen or just citizens to tag along. They should be on the table of negotiation more. They should be on the table of decision making more. Yes, I won't be against raising the quota, the number of women, upping the numbers in those decision making processes. So it's not out of place. I mean, it's not too much to ask that, and gladly, I think even the current government, raised the quota of women governance. I want to believe that this is something that should be put across board. We are always talking about gender equality. As long as there's qualification, after putting qualification, when we want to talk about quota system, probably we should be talking about quota system basically only on the ratio of men and women. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, after qualification has been considered, then the quota system should be on ratio of men to women. That should be system or whatever. Yes, it's not out of this.
Right. Thank you so much for that response, Lubinko. But you mentioned quota system. I think that beyond the quota system, like what do you think the government should do in terms of, because it's one thing to say, okay, we're going to give you 10% of the quota so you can sit in on meetings, but it's another thing to actually listen to the contributions and feedback that women are giving, because at the end of the day, women, we know, but they're the ones who go into the market, they're the ones who have their ears to the ground. What do you say the government should do in terms of not just giving them a quota, but enforcing that they are forefront, the top, and they're forefront in the center in actually pushing conversations, in actually pushing progress in policies and decision making?
Like I said, I talked about qualification first, and then after qualification, the quota. And the only reason we've seen women mess up seriously in government, young women, old women, better I do is still there, you know. And in this cabinet, we've seen quite a number that had also messed up. But gladly, we've also seen women whose voice have been. There's difference between quota, giving quota to your girlfriends, to your daughters, to your family and friends, and giving that quota. I mean, one woman is still currently making waves in Nigeria and the world. I'm talking of Okonjo Yela. Dora actually made an impact. She was a woman. So, of course, when we have qualified women, even if it is one of them, their voice can be relegated to the background. But if it's a case of just picking these women just to satisfy the conscience of women, and I think that's the fight women should also fight for. Don't just support women because women are there. Fight and advocate for women that are the first to be there. Not just having women there. The moment we have that, I mean, when it comes to pushing of ideas, the federal government would definitely always listen to ideas that would make their governance better. And in the absence of that, if these women are just on the table to tag along to say yes, we would always have a complaint. So yes, beyond the quota system, the ratio of men to women that should be on the table of discussion, we should be looking out for the most qualified women.
All right, thank you very much, Obideyi Olarinwaju Binko, and we really do thank you so much for being a part of the program today. I mean, the many issues that we've touched on, and we hope that Nigerians have been able to pick out, lessons. And just your last words, especially for Nigerians, as is a new month, the new expectations, yes, but also on their roles as citizens as well.
Yeah, it's a new month. And Nigerians, when we look at things around us, we might want to get discouraged. But I'm giving it out to every one of us. Don't give up on yourself. Even if you give up on your government, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your country. Watch, turn back, watch out. There's always one way or the other to contribute in making the country better. At every point in time you see that opportunity arise, please contribute your quota for the better country, for the better nation we desire. And invariably, I can tell us that Nigeria will still be great in that time.
Thank you very much, Obideyi Olarinwaju Binko. Thank you for being a part of our program today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is exactly where we get to wrap it up right here on the newspaper. Paper Review on your Women Radio 91.7, Nigeria's first and only radio station for women and their families. And there have been so many things that we've touched on, but just as we wrap up, really, I want to emphasize that we must be well aware of road safety rules. We need to ensure that we are responsible citizens. It's the September to remember, the Ember months to remember, and we get to see a lot of conversations across board about things that people need to do. Prayers, exactly, but don't be the weapon fashioned against yourself. Yes, always wear your seat belt. Don't use your mobile phones while driving. Obey the speed limit and traffic signals, please. I'm saying please. Driving under the influence is prohibited. Don't drink and drive. Also, make sure that your car and your vehicle is registered and roadworthy, especially with functioning lights and reflectors. And please, if you're a motorist, wear your helmet. Okay. We've told you these ones. Don't say that we've not shared one or two tips with you because we care about you. And here's the thing, we need you to be alive for your family.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with me, Fumi Bambala.
It's always a pleasure to do this with you.
I am Miracle Philip, and yes, we trust that for the rest of the year 2025, the land will be green. Coming up at 9 will be the news at 9, and at 9:05, Harlands. Good morning.
Good morning.